again, in places like London, in places like Berlin, in places like New York, in places like Washington, D.C. They're very, very well organized. This is the problem of letting the world go to hell and assuming it won't come back to bite you in the rear end.
That's the head of the Defense Intelligence Agency under Barack Obama, who is now out of office. It's a shame that the president's not out of office. But he's given us zero leadership for the world. And that brings us to Obama's leadership on the world stage. In the face of the real oppressors of women, homosexuals, and other minorities, oppressors who are beheading people and burning them alive, he is a complete pushover. Where is his audacity in dealing with ISIS? Where is Obama's audacity in dealing with Iran? Instead of dealing with these real threats, he is provoking a war with Russia that America cannot afford and may very well lose. That's page 31 of the most prophetic book of our time, Government Zero. Now, I want to say something right now. At the risk of your displeasure, I'm quoting my book every day on the show. When I had thought that by now I wouldn't be talking about it, I figured, look, I'd promote it for 2 weeks and you'd buy it and that would be good enough. The rest would be whatever happens. But the book was so ahead of its time and so perfect for what is going on now, I'm sorry to say, that I need to quote myself because no one has said it better or written it more clearly than I have. I rest my case. Savage Nation, KSFO, Danny, what do you have to say on the program today?
Hi, Doctor. Thank you for your work. There was a lieutenant colonel who used to carry the nuclear football for Clinton, wrote a book, Dereliction of Duty, saying what's really going on. You spoke yesterday of the purging of all these generals, high-ranking military men and such. Why don't we hear a word from them? Can't they say
from who? You're saying, why don't we hear from the generals such as the African-American attack helicopter commander who was dismissed overnight by Obama for allegedly having an affair? Why don't we hear from them? They're all blackmailed. That's why.
Well, I think there were some white ones, too. We don't hear from any of them.
Okay. Well, I didn't say only white ones. It's not about black or white. It's about what Obama's doing to the military. He's purging the military, I said, a dozen times. And, well, okay, and nothing. And nothing's purging the military. It's that simple. Purging the military. Okay, WABC. Eddie, you've been holding a long time. What's your point?
The largest Trojan horse in history is occurring as we speak. All the people need to do is look at a map. The Syrian Muslims, why are they going to Europe? Egypt, like you said before, Egypt, United Arab Emirates, Libya.
Oh, they're because of global warming. They're going to cold areas because of global warming. That's what the head of the CIA said. I mean, you got to let them emigrate out of warm areas to cool areas.
Why are the Muslim Syrians going to Europe and not going to all the Arab areas
Because they're hot areas. They don't like the heat. Muslims don't like heat. They like cold places. That's why they're going to Europe and America. It's John Brennan of the CIA just told us that. It's because of global warming. I mean, you don't believe Bernie Sanders knows more than you do about these things?
The other thing, Michael, is all of these people leaving Syria, they have a lot of money. Where are they getting this money? All of them leaving have large amounts of money. They're being funded.
Wait, hold on. I don't know if they have large amounts of money. A guy floating in an ocean doesn't have a lot of money on him, does he?
They have money. Look at the reports.
Well, irrespective of whether they have resources or not is not the point. The point that you're making is a good one, which is why you're bringing in Muslims from Syria when a neighboring nation should take them in. Isn't that what you're saying?
That's 100% correct.
Right. All right, so why don't they take them in? Because they know that they're dangerous. Who would take in people who could blow up your people? Except Obama and Valerie Jarrett and John Brennan and the other lunatics who are supposed to protect us. End of story. Okay. We have no leadership, zero leadership. That's all. Terror, fear now in Germany. We know at the soccer game. Let's take some calls. Let's take some calls. WBOB. Julie, welcome to the program.
Yeah, hey, I don't think you're going to see us do anything to the oil fields. They're not going to be destroyed because the Iranians want them intact, and the Iranians own Obama.
Okay. It's all about oil again? It's another war for oil? Is that what this is?
Well, I mean, they've gotten everything loosened up with the sanctions, and then they'll get the oil fields, and they'll be ready to go with that, and they've already...
Well, how is it then that Obama doesn't permit the Keystone XL pipeline to be built, which could bring us endless gazillion gallons of crude to be refined in New Orleans? Why does he prohibit that?
Because that would benefit us, and that's no good. It doesn't benefit...
That's okay. I'm sorry, I wasn't thinking clearly. I wasn't. Okay, government zero for you, zero business sense, no borders, no language, no culture. Why did I not think of that? The Keystone XL pipeline would benefit America. I'm sorry, so therefore it can't be allowed because it goes against the thinking of the progressives who hate America. Russia and USA must unite, says Hollande. Even he's saying it. Belgian Prime Minister threatens to close some mosques. Ooh. Ask soldiers who fought Muslims in the Middle East if they use mosques as fortresses. I think anyone who's fought in Iraq or Afghanistan will tell you something that you didn't learn at Harvard, which is the mosques are very often used as fortresses to shoot at enemies from. Everyone knows that. Belgian Prime Minister threatens to close certain mosques, especially in the radical Molenbeek neighborhood. What are they doing there in the Molenbeek neighborhood? It's all on the internet, not in the mosques, said Jamal Irzahran, a socialist lawmaker in the Brussels parliament, speaking over glasses of mint tea in a traditional North African cafe. See, they don't want the mosques closed. In agreement with another customer, leant over the table to show the screen on his smartphone, which displayed a YouTube video on how to build a bomb. What do you think is behind that, he asked, stressing that recruitment by extremists had retreated into cyberspace. Others said that the young men who went to fight in Syria and Iraq had almost never attended mosques. Okay. So don't close the mosques. Open more of them. Mr. Ichsman said that underinvestment in education and housing had helped to create the economic and social weakness that... you've heard this before. It's not about religion. It's about the lack of jobs. They need job training. I think that's a very good point. It's global warming and the lack of jobs that's causing them to do this. So they've been doing it since the 7th century as a result of a lack of jobs in Muhammad's time and global warming from camel dung in Muhammad's time. It was all that camel dung you see in the desert that produced methane, and the methane heated up the environment to such an extent that everyone had to run out of the area. That's the reason. The stank so bad that they had to run out of there to Brussels.
Join the Savage Nation. Call now, 855-400-SAVAGE, 855-400-7282. Savage.
Hey, our Savage Nation is sponsored by SwissAmerica.com, the only company I trust for wealth insurance, gold and silver. Call 800-BUYCOIN. Extra, hear all about it. An armory was broken into in Massachusetts with military weapons stolen. Immediately, the FBI said that it was not terrorist-related. Now, if they don't know who did it, how do they know it wasn't terrorist-related? Without saying why it's so sure, the FBI claims there is no terrorism link to the high-caliber military weapons stolen in a break-in at an armory in Massachusetts, including assault rifles and handguns. But Governor Charlie Baker and the Boston special agent in charge don't seem so certain. FBI spokesmouth Kristen Satera, that's another one of the girls hired by Obama, immediately said, "Why, there's no indication that these missing weapons are connected to any kind of terrorism threat whatsoever." How does she know that? She doesn't know anything. She's another empty skirt. Massachusetts State Police and Worcester Police are working with the FBI in an effort to get the weapons back, said the Globe. Okay. Break-in was the first of its kind at the Army's 5,000 standalone armories. Stolen over a 5-hour period starting 6 p.m. on Saturday night by at least one man who got in through the roof of the Army Reserve building. And what did he steal? Oh, what did he steal? Well, we know, whatever it is, it doesn't matter. He knows that the assault rifles and handguns are not terrorism. That's what the spokesmouth from the FBI said. That's right. Kristen Satera, appointed by Obama from the sorority. No terrorism at all involved.
Join the Savage Nation. Call now, 855-400-SAVAGE, 855-400-7282. Savage. The Savage Nation contains adult language, adult content, psychological nudity. Listener discretion is advised. And now, America's most exciting radio talk show, The Savage Nation, home of unprotected thought, borders, language, culture. And here he is, Michael Savage.
Chopping our way into the hours that pass by, waiting for the next terror attack. Sitting here like sissies, waiting to be struck again. Oh, Mr. Islamist, don't hit me again. I'll be good. I'll put flowers and teddy bears where the bloodstains are. Oh, please, Mr. Islamist. We did it to you. We caused it, Mr. Islamist. And it's global warming. And we have a jobs program on the way, too. Yes, indeed. Great to be an American. The land of the free and the home of the brave. Let's take some calls. Mark on WJR. Go ahead, please. Say it like it is.
Thanks for taking my call. In one way, Bernie Sanders is correct. In the same way that the Democratic Party and the Socialists create problems and then they blame something else for the problem. When the global warming hysteria led to a conversion of more grain and food products to fuel, it actually was one of the sparks or the impetus behind the origin of the Arab Spring. When I think it was in Tunisia, the guy lit himself on fire. They were lighting themselves on fire because the grain cost was so high.
I'm speechless. So, in other words, because we converted corn to methane, that he set himself on fire in Tunisia?
To ethanol. We used food for fuel, and that actually led to a rise. And I can't remember what year that was. Maybe it was 2008, 2009.
Well, then we should build the Keystone XL pipeline immediately and use dead dinosaurs to fuel our cars.
Would cut into somebody's...
All right, so now I'm getting a migraine from it. It's impossible to follow. You know, sometimes we use like reverse logic. It's called a certain form of sarcasm, but sometimes it's so obtuse it's hard to follow. It's along the lines of a reducto ad absurdum argument that young man was just using. It wasn't bad, but it was so hard to follow that it became reducto ad absurdum absurdum. I mean, it was absurd, and it made no point whatsoever. Why do I feel so good? There must be something wrong about to happen in the world. Okay, let's take the calls. Let's have fun with the callers right now. KCMO, Kansas City. John, welcome. Fire away. You're on the Savage Nation.
Good afternoon. I have a question for you. When President Obama refers to the Islamic State as ISIL, the L in ISIL means Levant. And I looked that up, and that means the area around Israel, where Israel is right now, when the Muslims controlled it. And so is he insulting Israel by not acknowledging their existence by using the term ISIL?
Well, of course, I didn't think he was referring to Oscar Levant, the actor of the 1940s. Of course he was trying to refer to a world map where Israel doesn't exist. What else would you expect from a plant of the Muslim Brotherhood?
Yeah, because when John Brennan was speaking a long time ago, and he referred to Jerusalem as Al-Quds. Yeah, that was quite...
Well, it's been alleged that John Brennan is a Muslim convert. Have you read that anywhere?
No.
Oh, yeah, I've read it in many sites. It's a rumor that John Brennan is enamored of Islam.
Really?
Well, that'd be nice to know that we have a moderate Muslim running the CIA. Well, at least we know he's a friendly Muslim, right?
Yeah, hope.
Hope? I mean, maybe he's on the order of King Hussein of Jordan, or the strong man who leads Egypt, one of our allies. There are allies in the Muslim world. Maybe he's one of them.
Well, we can only hope for that. But
I hope so. Well, I'm setting you government zero so you can see what no borders, no language, no culture leads to. KCMO again. Pat, did I just take Pat? It is Pat I just took. WBAP, I haven't heard from you in a while in Dallas. What's going on down there? What's on your mind, Scott?
I am totally frustrated with our president for using the word values. That's the reason our American values for not allowing these Syrian refugees